Hi everybody, my name is Neville and today we're going to be looking at the differences between a JPEG and a RAW file. So today we're going to be talking about RAW and JPEG images. The reason why we're talking about this is that I've had a few questions asked me the past few weeks, and they've asked me this question: what is the difference? I see the settings on my camera, I'm just not sure what they mean. Can you please explain it to me? So there are a couple of things that we need to understand about a JPEG and a RAW image. The first is something that we would have heard from the term of compressed or uncompressed. So compression in a JPEG is when we take our photograph and we compress it like that to make a smaller file, and then we open it up again, and basically what's happening is that we're pixelating our images every time we compress and then reopen the images. A RAW file, on the other hand, works differently, kind of more like folds the image and stores the data and the information. When you need it, you open it up again and all the information is there. There's nothing wrong with a JPEG. We use the JPEGs all the time in our emailers and in our social media feeds. So this is something, just keep it in your mind. There's nothing wrong with a JPEG. In fact, I personally use JPEGs almost every single day, but I do RAW processing on my images first. In order to do RAW processing, we need to have software that enables us to do that. Some of our cameras that we have do have their own software for that. For example, Fuji have got Fuji RAW, Canon have got DPP. Then there are other software out there such as Lightroom and Photoshop and Capture One. Today I'm using Capture One as my preferred software that I like to use. And so let's hop on over to Capture One and let me show you what the difference is between the two. You'll see that I've got two images on the screen, and the one has got an orange border around it, and that is the RAW file. You'll see the RAW extension at the bottom here, and the one on the right hand side is the JPEG, and you can see that from the extension over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the slider, my before and after slider, to show the difference between how the images can look once you've done some manipulation to the image in the RAW file. On the JPEG side of the image, you'll see that the JPEG is actually fine. You could put that on social media basically immediately, whether you're using your phone or your camera. But like I said, my preferred way is using the RAW images. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly show you what the tweaks are on the RAW image, that you can see the difference in the results. So if you look at the JPEG, this is straight from the camera, so it won't have any information over here on my tool palette, which is on the left hand side of the screen. However, when I click on my RAW file, you'll see that I've applied a couple of different scenarios where I've changed my contrast. Brightness is a tool that we can use for our midtones. You can see there, I'll just switch it on and off quickly. And the contrast is also adding a little bit of punch into the image. Highlights to pull some of the sky back. Shadows for the rocks in the front here. And then our sharpening. So a RAW image, when it comes into the camera or when it comes into your software, does not have sharpening applied to it. This is something you need to add to it, whereas the JPEG has got in-camera sharpening already applied to the image. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then we can have a closer look at what's happening on the images. Because I've managed to use all the dynamic range and the exposure on the RAW file, I'm able to pull back information in my image. And if you take a look at the JPEG image, you can see that information's a little bit muddy and a little bit lost. And this is one of the main reasons why we do use RAW images, is that we can pull this data and this information back into our image. Another area I'm going to show you just quickly is here on the mountain. Take a look at this band over here on the JPEG and over here on the RAW file. And you'll see on the RAW file we've managed to pull some information back from the mountain into that shadow area, as well as lift our sharpness levels a little bit. But on the JPEG straight out of the camera, that information's not really there. So this is again why we use RAW. We can boost that information. We can take that information, we can expand it. The other thing I wanted to show you quickly was within the RAW application that I'm using, I do have the ability to change certain colors only, and this is in the color editor. So I'm not going too much into the editing today, but just showing you the difference between the two. And again, I'm just showing you how the RAW file comes in from the camera and the JPEG. They look very similar, but once we've applied our RAW manipulations, you can definitely see there's a big jump in the image quality. So this is basically the thing I want to leave you with. Rather shoot RAW and JPEG at the same time. You can come back and manipulate the RAW image and have a look at it, change it, play with it. The JPEG, remember, it's giving us this, so every time we close that image down, we compress the image. Another part or another word used for that is also destructive and non-destructive, where the RAW file is non-destructive. So I can change the RAW file over and over and over, and I'll just show you quickly just a quick color change or something like that, which we can do, and I can just go back to the way it was shot. And it doesn't matter how many times I do this on a RAW image, the information is there for me to manipulate. On the JPEG, however, once the camera has done it, if I'm going into Photoshop to change my JPEG, I can do that, but remember, JPEGs are destructive. So every time I close it down, it recompresses the image, loses pixels, and I've lost information. Again, on social media, on your tablet, on your phone, might not matter that much. But as soon as you go much larger and much bigger, that's where it's going to matter. I hope this helps you. And if this does, please like and subscribe. More stuff like this is coming your way. Thank you for watching.